On this edition of Somerville Neighborhood News, learn how the snow is affecting the city's businesses, get the latest on the school roofs, check out the Somerville High School Drama Club and the Somerville Boxing Club, attend the police youth basketball game, get a glimpse of a new film on a Somerville resident, and catch up with the Union Square meetings. All this on Somerville Neighborhood News.
Hello, and welcome to Somerville Neighborhood News. Today is February 24th. I'm Remy Prevost. Somerville Neighborhood News is your bi-monthly newscast and online source for multimedia news. It's a community service production of SCATV, created by staff, interns, and your neighbors. We bring you the news every 2 weeks on Channel 3 and on our website, somervilleneighborhoodnews.org. We begin our newscast, where else? Dealing with all this snow. How are the city's businesses coping? Laura, Anyenaho, and Hadley Green bring us the story.
The 95 inches of snow that's fallen here this winter has broken records, frustrating not only Somerville residents, but also hurting local businesses.
The people that come, they do not buy as much as they would normally do because it's extremely difficult to carry bags for 2 or 3 blocks to your car. So they buy what they need for the day or for a couple of days, and as a result, the volume goes down.
According to Contos, this once buzzing old-school butcher shop has taken a hit. He thinks it's because there's no parking.
The past few weeks, it has been virtually impossible for people to come. Parking is non-existent. Even the parking lot in back, as you can see, it hasn't been plowed to a point that people can park. I don't think it's my place, nor my partners, to clean up the parking lot. Since the city rents the parking lot, they have the meters, they get the revenue, I think it's only fair that they do a better job.
Contos isn't the only one who's concerned.
It has been very affected our business. It's not as much working as before. It's very, very slow. It's like 10%. Most of the time we have to close the business because of the snow, because our clients is having a problem, the car parking, most of that, so that's affected our clients.
Kamacharya says clients have canceled appointments. Some made it, but not without difficulty.
So the snow just makes it really difficult to walk around because you constantly have to avoid snowbanks, you have to walk around things, actually you have to walk in the street sometimes in order to get to your destination, which is pretty unsafe right now. So it's very inconvenient.
Yeah, it's everyday commute. It's hard. I'm a student, I go to school. It takes me, usually it's 45 minutes commute. It takes me like 1 hour or more than sometimes 1.5 hours.
Some business people think the city is making progress in snow removal, despite the back-to-back snowstorms.
I believe the city's doing what it can in this situation, and it's just up for the people to be a little bit patient about it. I mean, as a business owner, sure, I'd love to see more parking spaces available for our customers, but I mean, I understand that it is what it is because no one was really expecting us to be hit with multiple storms in such a short span of time,
Steve Mackey of the Chamber of Commerce says he recognizes the efforts of the businesses during this rough period.
Everybody primarily is hunkering down, trying to secure in their facilities and also to sustain as much of an operation as they safely can.
Though some of the Chamber's 315 businesses are frustrated with the weather conditions, Mackey is hopeful they can bounce back.
But generally speaking, I think the city's done an outstanding job trying to keep up with the snow and keep the streets as safe as possible and get them to be as passable as possible in a reasonable period of time. The feedback that I've received has been, compared to other communities, Somerville is doing, it seems, a better job. So it's, it's a tremendous challenge. It requires more time and equipment than plowing and removal than ever before.
And there's still a whole month left until winter ends. Will it bring more snow and challenges to businesses? We'll keep you posted. I'm Laura Onyenaho, Somerville Neighborhood News.
Some of the city's buildings were constructed back in the 1800s, and a lot are almost a century old. On February 11th, the city announced that all schools would stay closed for the rest of that week and for vacation week, so the snow could be cleared from the rooftops. What's going on? News director Jane Regan wanted to find out.
Officials caught parents by surprise on February 11th when they said schools wouldn't open at all that week.
We had an architect come in and do an assessment of two of the buildings in the city. We looked at the high school and also Winter Hill School. We got on the roof of both buildings. We did a snow density test. They take a specific volume of snow, get its specific weight, and then the density of the snow. Using that information, we looked at some of the structural plans for the building, and they were able to provide us with an assessment of where we stood in relation to code on the building. We found that the high school was okay. The Winter Hill School, some of the drifts in locations actually exceeded the snow loads that would be typically seen on buildings. So the city, based on that information, prioritized getting the snow off of all the buildings, and to be safe and not risk anything, decided to close school until that work was complete.
Parts of the high school were built decades ago, but most of the schools in Somerville date from the 90s or even the 2000s. Boston and Cambridge have similarly aged schools, but their students were back in the classroom on February 11th. King said he didn't know why Somerville was the only city in the area to keep its kids home.
I don't know that I'm prepared to say why they were open. Maybe they had assessments done of their buildings. Maybe they were confident that they wouldn't have issues. I don't know that we're in a position to speculate on why they may be open. It depends on the type of construction that was used for the buildings and the codes that were in place when those buildings were built.
The city hired contractors who brought in workers from as far away as Canada. At Argenziano, shovelers were earning $25 an hour.
We got up here this morning. There was about 5 feet of snow all the way along this section here. We had everybody cleared out. They've been running tarps and clearing it out with shovels and picks, and pretty much just focusing on all the big drifts.
You see our crew dragging ass on camera.
But one of the things that we're going to be working on with the architectural firms, we're going to have a structural analysis done for all of our buildings.
The city also got a lot of attention by partnering with Above Summit, a local company that flies drones. They took a look at snow levels from above.
We're going to create a guidance document that gives our buildings and grounds crews the ability to do a visual assessment of the building. If there's a foot of snow, take this action. If there's 2 feet of snow, take this action. 3 feet of snow, take this action. Just give us a planning tool that we can use moving forward.
Almost 100 inches of snow in just 1 month. What will next month bring? And what if engineers find structural problems in the school's roofs? How will the city come up with the money to make those repairs? What about the roofs in Cambridge and Boston? We should look into all of these issues, but right now, I've got to get back to shoveling. For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Jane Regan.
What do you think about the new snow shoveling rules in the city? The new ordinance will be discussed at City Hall on February 25th at the public hearing at 7 p.m. If you have an opinion, show up and make your voices heard. Now back to our stories. Across the country, police officers are being criticized for racial profiling, excessive use of force, and for causing deaths of black youth and adults. But here in Somerville, the police and local organizations are working to create a more positive relationship.
On February 6th, 2 teams, each composed of a mix of youth and police officers, faced off in a basketball game organized by Somerville Teen Empowerment.
Youth and police, they constantly have that negativity in their mind, like, oh, I had a problem with him, I can't talk to him, I can't have a relationship with him. So they feel like they have to like stop themselves from building a relationship because of past things, when really the police are there to build that relationship to make the community a better, more positive place.
It's really important to really just build these relationships. When cops and youth know each other, you don't have those incidents happen. If that officer knew Mike Brown and he was able to know him by name, that interaction would have been completely different. This isn't a reaction to Trayvon Martin or Michael Brown or anything. We're being proactive here. We want the rest of the country to look at what's happening here in Somerville and the work we can do with young people before those situations can occur.
The troubling and tragic events in Ferguson and Staten Island and many other incidents we don't hear about that don't get pressed around the country. Where a large segment of the population feels the justice system doesn't work equal for them, or they feel that public safety department or police unit doesn't really represent all the communities in their city or town.
The basketball game is part of an ongoing joint effort to encourage conversation between Somerville youth and police.
No place more important for the police to be with the youth, but on a good level, on a good encounter. We're here tonight, we're exchanging names, we're making friends with the youth, and there's no place we'd rather be tonight.
We can all try to get along and not have as many issues as we had in the past. That this community is about building relationships and not being afraid to make them.
I hope the audience tonight takes away that it's not the police that's going to solve problems in the community, but working together, the police with the community, there's no problem this community can't solve. And I want the community to tell us what kind of policing, what kind of community do you want? And we'll work with you to reach that goal.
And it didn't end with that game. Teen Empowerment and Police Department hope to make the game an annual event. And there are a number of other activities planned. For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Yu Xiaoyuan.
Next, there have been a lot of meetings at the old post office lately. Visioning sessions, slideshows, discussions, and surveys. What's it all about? SCATV's reporters and interns have been trying to keep up.
Since early January, city officials and representatives of US 2 have been meeting with residents at the old post office in Union Square. US 2 is the firm that won the contract to redevelop 7 parcels around the square. On January 7th, people attended a visioning session.
I do have to say, I did kind of like the view into people's secret backyards that you would get when you would go over. So I think
the session was repeated on January 31st with a special focus for residents who don't necessarily speak English.
Bueno, yo creo que estas reuniones son muy interesantes para la comunidad, sobre todo para la comunidad hispanoparlante. Ojalá pudieran venir mucha más gente porque esto nos ayuda a tener y a colaborar en lo que va a ser el gran proyecto de Union Square.
Moi, pense que c'est un bon événement parce que chaque monde a des plans. Il y a des gens qui pensent idée ça va des gens qui pensent idée ça va.
On Wednesdays in February, US 2 and the Somerville by Design team hosted technical sessions to explain
the details of the development economics, transportation and traffic, brownfields and infrastructure. This is the second phase in a 3-phase winter and spring set of activities, and it's going to really allow for everybody to have access to the same information.
We're going to engage with you, we're going to listen, we're going to synthesize and create. And these are the 7 blocks that have been identified as part of the revitalization plan.
The February 18th session was on transportation.
So we've been living here for about 6 months, and I'm a transportation planner for the city of Cambridge, so I'm just generally interested in what's going on with Union Square.
I thought it would be interesting just to see how the neighborhood I live in is going to change.
Columnist and activist Bill Sheldon has attended most of the meetings.
I think the intent is righteous, but I think that if they were better planned, people would have more opportunity to fully respond.
I think we all have something to contribute to this planning process. This is a great neighborhood today, and our goal is to make it even greater tomorrow.
I would like us to be able to look through each other's eyes and see how we live here and what changes in the built environment would help us to sustain what we love about living here, and what changes would make things better.
In early March, March 9th, 10th, and 11th, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., this public studio will be open for what we call a design charrette. Very interactive, very fun, where we draw 100 different ideas about public space, development opportunities, housing preservation, local business support, that will all inform a strategic plan to guide change in Union Square.
Presentations and breakout sessions, surveys and visioning. Will the ideas offered by residents make it into the final plans for D2 and D3? And what about the master plan? Is US 2 listening? It's up to City Hall to hold the developer accountable, but it's up to the residents of Somerville to show up at meetings and to make sure their elected representatives hear their voices. We'll see you in March. For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Jane Regan.
The all-day design charrette is on March 9th, 10th, and 11th at the Old Post Office in Union Square. For more information, check out somervillebydesign.com/planning/Union Square. Now here's an announcement. You're invited to a special screening of a new film, Power to the Pedal, Wednesday Jane and a Culture of Change, on March 2nd. The documentary follows Somerville's resident Wednesday Jane, a woman who builds bike-powered cargo vehicles. Jane and filmmaker Bob Nesson, also a Somerville resident and a member of SCAT's Board of Directors, will host a discussion after the screening on March 2nd, which starts at 6 p.m. It's at Harvard Law School in the Wasserstein Building, room 2012. Here's a sneak preview.
My understanding of the world changed when I learned how to build things. I've really always been interested in challenges and problem solving. Everywhere you turn, there's a problem, and there's an opportunity to learn something new by solving that problem. I run this company, Metro Pedal Power. We have a fleet of vehicles, and we use the different vehicles for different jobs.
Once again, the screening is on March the 2nd at 6 p.m. It's at the Harvard Law School in the Wasserstein Building, room 2012. Now here's another story from the Somerville High School video production class.
Somerville High School is a great school for students to get involved in any activity that piques their interest. Whether it's a sports team, art club, or debate team, the students at Somerville High have many options to choose from for after-school activities. One of the lesser-known and under-projected activities is Somerville High's Drama Club.
I expect to see really amazing stuff. The students are definitely passionate. They know what kind of obstacles are going to come up, and they've been trying to work around those. And I've been seeing a lot of creative initiative and being able to cooperate and work together through any differences that might happen.
The Drama Club meets every single Thursday after school to rehearse their one-act play.
I mostly joined Drama Club because I knew a lot of people who were there, and I needed something to do after school.
The Somerville High School Drama Club has a widely diverse group of students who are all interested in and have the love of theater arts.
You know, I know how hard they work, the hours that they put in, it's extensive, I know about that. And because also I knew some of the people who ran that club. I remember when Mr. Eames ran it and how many hours they would be practicing. So it was clear how much work they put in.
I was in musical freshman year, and I really liked the friends I made and the experience I had both on stage and backstage.
Everybody now! All the hard work the Drama Club puts in during the year is well played off in their annual competition in March, the Massachusetts Drama Festival.
The Somerville High School Drama Club proudly presents The Test by Cliff McClelland.
I think Fest is really fun, and we get to go see and meet other schools and people from other schools, and we get to see how they do theater as opposed to how we do it.
Win or lose, the Somerville High School Drama Club continued their fight in the competition and enjoys every minute of it.
Oh yeah, I know I'm to blame, but it ain't that a shame, Bill Bailey. Come on.
Next up, let's hear what's in this week's Somerville Journal.
Hello, this week in the Somerville Journal we'll have the latest about the new snow shoveling ordinance, we'll have a look at the Powder House School as it goes up for bid again, and we'll have a new look at the zoning plans that the city is coming forward with. You can always check us out at somerville.wickedlocal.com and Twitter @VilleJournal, and you can get in touch with me at 617-629-3385 or datkinson@wickedlocal.com.
We end with a profile of a club in East Somerville that's open to everyone in the city, kids and adults.
Somerville Boxing Club started about 1978 when a bunch of guys got together, a bunch of ex-fighters, Bobby Cavino, Gabe LaMarca, Gene McCarthy, and Johnny Coyley. Myself, we all got together and started a club. It was at the church on Cross Street. We do it all for the love of the sport. Not everybody's a team member of, plays football, basketball, but this is this is for a person who wants to do it on his own. Everybody volunteers. Bobby Cavino volunteers probably 25 hours a week. Myself probably 35. Alex Rivera, who's phenomenal, who's in the ring now. You hear him work with the phenomenal trainer.
I started out when I was young, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and just stuck to it. And it's my dream to become a world champion, so I'm trying to make it happen. It's I'm just always in the gym. I don't go out party or anything. I'm always disciplined, and it's a good path for me.
Boxing teaches me to be active. Don't fool around the streets, and don't mess around with other people. You have to have a lot of potential and have a lot of. It's just a hard sport. You have to train, run. You have to eat healthy. It's not like you can just train and fight. You have to have dedication. My dad's really fun in the house. He's always playing with me. We're always throwing the football in the house. Now he can keep an eye on me, what I'm eating, and feed me healthy. He teaches all these guys, and they really like him because he's very active. He's not like just staying in one place, getting pads. He's everywhere.
He's been in it since he was born. A true story. The first place I took him to was the boxing gym. I put him in the middle of the ring on his car seat, and then I went home. That's how much I love the sport. Boxing is a very dedicated sport. You have to have a lot of dedication, heart, and tenacity to do it. So through boxing, you learn a lot through life. Learn a lot, and like I said before, just being a boxer and now a trainer, I see it from different ways. I'm like a teacher in a way, it feels me a lot to grab this kid. It's like a piece of clay and mold it into something beautiful. It's the kids from Somerville to come and check out the place. We're located on 11 Otis Street. If they want to compete as a boxer or just take it for exercise, it's the best exercise in the world. It's a lot of good people here that are willing to help. And instead of hanging in the streets, you come over here and you're safe. You teach, self-respect. You learn discipline, and a healthy body and a healthy mind. I always say, and you can spend 4 hours here instead of in the street and get in trouble out there.
Anyone come down, fill out an application. You're more than welcome to come down. You come down, do your exercise. You do not have to box. As long as you stay out of trouble. I like the people who come down and stay out of trouble, and I try to put people in the right direction. If you want to come down here and try to do the right thing, I'll help you out 100%.
Well, that's it for tonight. We'll be back on March 10th at 7 p.m. on Channel 3. In the meantime, you can watch and read our news stories at somervilleneighborhoodnews.org. And check us out on Facebook, SCATV SNN. Share your favorite segments or tweet us at SCATV SNN. We welcome you to get involved with Somerville Neighborhood News. Become a reporter or just send in your ideas. Call us at 617-628-8826 or email us at news@scatvsomerville.org. I'm Remy Prevost, and I'm a SCAT member. And I hope you join too. Take a class, produce a program, or just come and learn something new. Thank you for joining us, and see you around the neighborhood.